Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to Class 8 of June Batch ITAN training. So, I hope we're all doing well. Please give me feedback. I hope we're all doing well.
Yes, we are with you.
All right, that's Mr. Badiriwa. Thank you. How about the rest of us? I hope our day has been good. Are we good? Is the morale high? Or do we need to go and buy morale and share for everybody?
The morale is high.
Thank you. Thank you. We didn't see the only lady in the house yesterday. Is she here today? Miss Adiola, are you in class? Okay, I think she's not in class today. Okay. This person using iPhone. I'm always signing you in. I think we need to come and install either MTN or Glow server in that your environment. You're gonna need it. Refresh failed because the second server is not up. No problem. All right, so I have one or two information to share with us. I hope you cannot hear me, right?
We are
Can
hearing you.
everybody hear me? Okay, thank you. So uh, the first one is that this module, Windows Server Administrator or administration, which whatever you want to call it, is supposed to last for 6 weeks. That is a month and 2 weeks. And by the end of today, we would have done a month. Okay. And the remaining 4 weeks, no, the remaining 2 weeks, that is 4 classes, is enough to cover for what we have remaining, for what we have left. All right. And that's why I said to us yesterday that we are not behind and we are not too ahead. We are just moving at the pace we should go. Okay. But I think I get the feeling that probably I'm rushing too much for the sake of the non-IT persons, people coming from different backgrounds. Okay. And I am not only elated, I am very impressed when I see some of the professions of people I have in class. All right. Professional people trying to up their game and then signing up for a course like this means that we have passed the age where people get complacent by just studying a professional course. All right. It tells me that people are getting enlightened and they are ready to move with the wave. And I can assure you, right now, this is internet economy. Everything now is on the internet, is in cloud. I know some of you must have heard of IoT, Internet of Things. Even if you are Babalawo, herbalist, you need to be on the internet now, right? And then by the research that was conducted by Glass, is it Glass Box now? Something Glass is the name of recruiting firm in USA, basically for uh, employers and employees to meet. People that have been onboarded as far as internet is concerned, they are about 35%. Thank you, Mr. Olumide, Internet of Things, 35%. All right, so the industry is, no matter how far you think it has come, the industry is still yet to get to be maximized, right? We still need a lot of people, a lot of people. Okay, someone was sharing with us yesterday how his friend that does not even know anything about DevOps or even have any background in IT got a job on DevOps, 110,000 US dollars per annum is excellent. Okay, so I should assure us that we are here. It is not a mistake. You have positioned yourself rightly, and me, that I'm talking to you as well, I have positioned myself rightly too, because at any point in time when coast clear, japa. But let's leave that for another discussion. So, one thing that is on your way to make this come to fruition is no other person but you. So, if you signed up for a course like this, is very good. But if you don't do your labs, if you don't do your practice, uh, it means that you entered the car, but you didn't drive it to your destination. You're just going to remain at that spot. So sitting in the car is not enough. You have to ignite the car and drive it to where you want it to take you to. Okay, that's one. So we're not going to be doing plenty things today. In fact, we might not expend all our 2 hours. In within 1 hour, I'll be done with what I need to show us. And probably we can use 30 minutes to discuss, or I can release you to go and use the remaining hour to start watching the videos. If you need to watch from the start, uh, just like Mr. T, and then while you are watching the video, please make notes. It is very important. Make notes. You will understand. Someone in our class is already understanding what it means to make notes now. The person forgot passwords. And I can assure you, in Windows, there are many passwords. Okay. And it is not advisable to use one password for all logins in real life. For training sake, for practice and learning sake, you can use one password. All right. So that your trouble is minimal. But while you are watching the video and you are doing your own clicking, make notes. Not only making notes, before you click, read on that page, understand. Okay, we cannot do all that within 2 hours. And that's why I try to explain one or two things in the notes that I'm releasing for us, so that you can understand this is why I am clicking this. So that when you see something later on while you are doing in the pipeline, your mind will flash back and you remember that, oh, okay, I saw this is why this is happening now. Okay.
Mr. Femi,
All
good
right,
evening.
sir.
Olumide speaking.
Okay, sir.
I need your help for something. I've mixed many classes, like wow, because I have serious project I'm handling, so I couldn't make it for like 2 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I need your help. I know it's funny, but I just need your help. All of those videos the from the point where the last class that I had was the one we had there. We created the server and we enabled the ADDS, DHCP, and DNS.
All right.
So the next one is supposed to be joining to the domain and from there GPO and every other thing.
Yes.
Please help me with the URL to all of those. Just help me to drop it on the WhatsApp, so I can go through all of them one by one and meet up the class before the next class, please.
All right, no problem.
Thank you very much.
All right. So the next information I want to give us is that after we complete this module, there's going to be 1 week break before we begin the next module. That's what the faculty lead suggested. It is what we've always been doing, or what we've always done rather, with previous batches. But it is solely on you guys. Do you want us to take 1 week break after Windows Server administration before we commence Linux? If you are okay, please go to the chat room, say yes. If you want us to fire down, go to the chat room and say no. This is a democracy. I repeat it again. There will be 1 week break after this module, Windows Server Administration, before we commence Linux. The essence of the 1 week is so that those that need to watch the video, those that need to practice, those that will need probably to private chat me and let me show them something, those that will need to prepare their mind ahead of the next class, all right, they can do all those within that 1 week break. All right, the 1 week break always come handy because it will help you to cover up and update yourself. Like I said, it is an for now it is not agile. It is not agile method. There's this other method we use in DevOps. Okay, we are building on it. When we get to Linux, we are not coming back to Windows again. I will not even entertain any question from Windows. All right, what I will just say is please go and watch the video. But right now, I still respond to people. I still call them because I know this is where we are currently, and I have promised them that, okay, I will give you the support. It is the pledge that we made to the faculty to give every training support that they need, and you shall have it. But the moment we cross a module, any support at that point is going to be, please go and watch the video. So that 1 week always, as many of you, so many of you would think that 1 week is for us to rest. No, it's actually for you to cover up whatever you have missed. All right, so let's begin the vote now. Tell me if you want us to have a week break. Okay, so far I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4. I've gotten 5 yes.
Sorry, when is that weekend likely to be?
Okay, so it is. You can calculate it. We have 2.
Weekend now.
We have 2 weeks of study more. The moment. Okay, so we have 4 classes more. Let's calculate it. Today is Sunday. 4th is 4th of July, another Sunday, and then 11th of July. By 11th of July, we are done with this module. So that means we are going to skip 18th of July and resumed 25th. No, we resumed 24th of July. All right. So by the time we finish class on 11th July, we finish module on 11th July, we'll begin the second module on, let me see. We have a week break. That means we will not hold class on 10th and 11th July. The next module will begin on 17th and 18th July. So you can calculate whatever it falls for you.
No, on the 24th. It has to start on the 24th.
Yeah, that's what I said, sir. On 24th July is when the next module will begin.
Hello, boss.
All right, I can hear you.
Please, just a question. What is the relationship between Windows and Linux?
Okay,
I
so
want to know.
there are different operating systems.
Okay.
So you have Windows operating system run by Microsoft.
Okay.
You have Mac operating system run by Apple. You have Android Android majorly is for handheld devices, but it is an OS as well. You have Linux by Unix, but Linux is an open source OS. It's available
Oh,
for
sorry, what's the
anybody.
difference between AIX and Linux?
AI,
X and Linux.
I'll find out, but I'm not sure I know. Does anybody know what AIX OS is? Right?
No, I believe it's a Unix this thing too, but I just know that there is a difference between them.
AIS is meant for a specific kind of application also, not as open as
the rest, right? Okay.
as Linux, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Linux is an open source generally. Windows can use it.
Yes.
Windows has it. Microsoft has it. This other
Apple
what's it called has it.
also have it. Yeah.
But AIS, nobody else has AIS
except for the people using it, right?
Yes, and it's specific for some application.
Okay, just like you have SAP and
SAP.
You know.
The AIX is somehow for like banking core.
Okay, all right. So they are special programs.
Yeah, they are special programs, yes.
So someone said Linux is not easy on the chat, but
yes, it's me.
I bet to disagree. Linux, I prefer Linux to Windows.
Because you're an expert now.
If you are good in command line, you like.
Because you're an expert now.
Don't worry, when we get there, that is what we want to make everybody to become now. To become
once you are good with command line, if you like using command line, you will enjoy Linux.
I mean, I like command line.
If you don't have the command in your head, you're stuck.
You don't have to. You don't need to have it in your head. It's all over everywhere. And
the beauty of a word is any command you need now, you can look at it and get it.
You can find them on Google.
Exactly. And the more you use commands, the more you have it in your head.
Mr. Femi.
Yes, sir.
Let me say this thing.
Okay,
it is good when you don't know. It is easy when you know that I don't know something.
Yeah.
So is the command that you know that you search for now? If you don't know the command, will you search for it?
Okay, so I was taking someone on a GMOps today, all right? And we were trying to do something that we've not done before. But we know that it is doable because we have the understanding of what we need to achieve. And I have a community I belong to.
Exactly
online.
My point.
I just go to the community and I type something, and I search for it.
They will respond to you.
It has even already been responded to since 2017. Someone has already, I asked for something like that and someone provided a solution and we did it and it worked. All right. But
because you know what you are looking for.
But Windows, I can tell you, Windows, at some point, if you are not careful, you go and dig out your notebook and begin to click. So I can assure us, by the time we are done with Linux, many of you will prefer, I beg, let me work with Linux. Right.
You know, Mr. Femi, I really want this Linux. I need this Linux.
Don't worry, we are going there. That's module 2. All right, so the next piece of information, we all agree that we should take a break. That's settled. Next information is I posted some numbers on our WhatsApp page. We cannot find their email, but we see their number. And then faculty lead has been asking us to resolve this for payment purpose. If we do not get a response from those persons between now and tomorrow, I may be forced to eject them. Right? That's all about that.
Some of us have responded though.
Yes, I saw the ones that have responded and have updated. You know, it is Google form now. The moment you respond, I get a notification for it. And then the last thing I'm gonna share is about payment. We've been asked to remind you all that the month we end or has even ended. We've done 4 weeks already, right? So for those that will proceed to module 2, should please begin to make payment to the necessary persons. Exactly, to get necessary cover. All right, so that's it.
So
Can I add something?
Please add something.
I want to ask.
By
Not
next
her.
weekend, the payment is not late now.
No, it is not.
Yeah, my question
It's
is
not
there
late
any
by
way,
next weekend. It's not late by next weekend, please. Sorry for cutting you. Please ask your question now.
is there going to be any way that we can have something like a, how would I put it down? A resume uh, prototype on, like, let's say Windows and Linux.
A ready what?
A resume prototype as the things that we can have on our resume.
So he's trying to say if it is possible, sir, what I believe what he's trying to say is it has to do with what we actually discussed of the class. To be very good at the end of the whole lessons to like let Oga consider issuing like a certificate of participation.
Of course.
This
No,
person
no. I don't think that's what he's trying to say.
What I'm
Can
just trying.
can he see a Linux expert resume so that I can be able to say, okay, this
Something like that.
I can put on my own resume. I'm now an expert like this person. I think that's what he said.
Okay, so please dump it on the WhatsApp page so I can remember, and I'll send it to us. Right. So basically,
hello. Before you proceed, please.
Okay.
You can account details available on our WhatsApp.
I can what?
The account details for the payment.
Oh no.
So that we'll get used to it.
That would be okay. Well, I'll discuss with the faculty lead if you want me to do that. But there's a way you paid for this one. That same way is what yeah. So in Linux, there are different distros. You have Ubuntu, you have Fedora. I think CentOS will be discontinued.
CentOS, Red Hat.
Sorry, that means we are going to download the Ubuntu, right?
No, we are not. We are using Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. They are all together.
Red Hat. Okay.
Yeah, but if you are able to operate one distro in okay, by distro I mean distribution. If you're able to operate CentOS, you can operate all. If you're able to operate Ubuntu, you can operate CentOS.
You know the installation packages are different too.
You said?
The installation packages, how you install this thing. Some use app, some use
it's just the command line that difference is. Where you are using Yum in CentOS, you'll be using wget. You'll be using app-get or wget in Ubuntu. So it is not a big deal at all. All right, so let us move on with the class now. Okay, so yesterday we started with replication of our testing our ADDS replication, right? And these are the things we did. We created a user on the master, the primary domain controller, and we checked if it will replicate on our secondary domain controller. Normally, when I do these things, I've been doing it severally, right? The moment I go to my second domain controller and I refresh, I'll see it there. But for one reason, we couldn't see it immediately yesterday. But that didn't deter us from checking other tests. We went ahead, we powered down our master server, and we leave the replica server running. And we tried to sign in with a user on our client machine, and we were able to sign in, right? The fact that we were able to sign in shows us that the client machine is able to communicate with the server, be it a primary or the replica server. Okay. And then we check if that was true or it was a fluke. We power down the two servers and we tried to sign in with another user and we could not, meaning that no server is up. That means the domain was down. Okay. And by the time we power up our two servers, the user we created on the primary domain, we now saw it on our secondary domain. That's S Badiriwa. And with that, we can comfortably say ADDS is replicating on the secondary server. We were on that throughout yesterday. We could not configure replication for DHCP and DNS. But early today, I made another 1 hour video to make up for the 1 hour we did yesterday, so that we can have that video. What does it mean to power down a server? It just means you shut it down. Okay. When you shut down your server, you power it down. Okay. So the second video, class 7B I released today, is very explanatory, and what is there is the DHCP replication and DNS replication. All right. So I encourage us to watch that video. When I say it is very explanatory, I can assure you it is very explanatory. Watch it, and while you are watching it, please take note. All right. The faintest pen is always and will forever be better than the sharpest brain. Okay. Even engineer Kiaregbeshola, that has been doing this for the past 20 years, at times he recurs to his notes as well to go and check. All right, doesn't mean you don't know it. Okay, just meant that you need to back up. All right, so that's it. And when you watch the video, if you have any thing or so to ask, you can come on our WhatsApp page and we resolve it for you. It is your right to ask, and it is our obligation to answer you until you are fulfilled. T for thank you. Today, all right, so DHCP, today we are going to configure time server on our machine. We're going to look into snapshot, cloning and backup. And we're also going to look at sharing and security if time permits. This one. Otherwise, we'll just do these two. All right, so my server, can everybody hear me and can you see my screen? Please. Can everybody hear me and can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
All right. So we have done this. Let's go and look at time configure time server. Okay, do you know that there is a server controlling time on the internet? Do you know that? Does anybody know? Can you tell me one common time server IP that you know, the IT guys? For Google, it is 8.8.4.4. All right. On the internet, everything is about a server. And for every server, there are IP address that leads you to them. All right. So DHCP is one of the other things we do. Sorry, time server configuration is another thing we do on the DHCP. All right. And I'm going to show us briefly now how you can configure time server. All right. But because we are not spinning up the server ourselves. There is a server already residing in one data center that is controlling it. Okay. Our own is just to link our server to that server. Can you all hear me? The time server I'm talking about, we can afford to build our own if we have the money. Maybe if those in bank will give us loan, we can host our own time server. All right. But there's no wisdom in reinventing a wheel. You just need to modify on the one you already have. There are time servers littered all over the internet. And I just told us that one common one is Google Time Server 8.8.4.4. So most of these Nigerian websites that are building websites, people, when they build websites for you and they want to synchronize it with time, all right, they just go and configure it to link directly with Google Time Server, all right? So the time on Google controls that one as well. All right. So in those days when phone just Android devices just came out, whoever observed this, that if the time on your phone is not set, your internet may not browse. You may not be able to browse on your phone, or you may not be able to open some website. Who has observed that? Has it ever happened to anybody? And then maybe your browser will now tell you to go and set the time, or that app will tell you to go and set the time on your device.
Yes, mostly WhatsApp.
Right? Oh, it happens to WhatsApp, exactly. So that's the importance of time server, because there are some servers that deal with real time.
It even happens in the server itself. If you configure a server and you fail to configure the time or the zone properly, you might have issues with it. Just because of
all right. So these are servers that deal with real time. Okay, and our DHCP as well does that. Do you understand? So if you have watched that video, or by the time you begin to watch the video, you will get to a point where you want to lease out IP address. Okay, so I explained in the video that in those days of cybercrime, there are some people that have money, they are able to buy their own laptop. So instead of using the cafe computer, they go with their own laptop. All right. And when they get their laptop to the cafe, they will give them a LAN cable to plug into their laptop. All right. The moment LAN cable enters into the laptop and it connects, there is an IP address attached to that PC. Okay, an IP address with the same network part of that internet, and that way you can receive and send packets. All right. Now there's something we call leasing. Because it is a cafe, they can't afford to be giving every laptop that comes static IP address. So it is dynamic. Dynamics means that it can change. And if it can change, it means they can withdraw it from you, give it to another person. That's why they say you lease it out. All right. Now, when you are configuring your DHCP, there are leasing duration, maybe 8 days or 1 day, however. If you don't configure your time server, how will your DHCP be able to say this one has lasted for 2 days? This one has lasted for 4 days. So I can withdraw it because my master said that I should lease this IP address out for just 30 minutes. If you don't configure your time server in real time, how do you do that? All right. Or look at your app, your mobile, your banking app. By the time they send you your evidence of payment, you will see the date and the time that that payment was effected. If you did not configure your time server, those things will not be possible. So these are one of the important reasons why you should configure time server on your domain. All right. So let us look at it. The first thing, you must enable NAT on your server. So what that means is server must be able to communicate with the internet, with outside network, because the server we want to link up to is not our own. It is another network server. This time the network is Google's network. So we come to DHCP. Class has started now. We come to tools, DHCP. By the time our DHCP comes off, let's look at our notes. We expand domain, we expand IP version 4, we expand scope. Let's go back there. We've expanded our domain, we expand IP version 4, we expand scope. Right. What does our note say? You right click on scope options, you configure options. See scope options here. You right click. Why is it not giving us? Okay. You click on it and right click, configure options. These things you are seeing here, you will not see it in your own. You are seeing mine here because I have taken my time to configure my DHCP, right? And by the time you watch that video, you'll be able to configure your own as well. So look at it. 004 for router. We configured router in that video, you will see it, and see time server. All right, time server. And like I said, server name, you might say server name is a Google time, or you say it is NFS, NTS, network time, NTP, network time protocol. So what IP address do you know that is a time server on the internet? I've mentioned one today. 8.8.4.4. This is Google time server. You add it up, you say apply, and you say okay. Look at it here. Automatically, it has what? It has happened. All right, so what you can do here, by the time you watch that video, you will understand the next thing I want to do here. I right click on my IP4 and I say replicate failover scopes. I say okay. You might not be able to do it because the second server is not up. But let's see what will happen here. But from here now, I'm seeing that it's struggling because the second server, I'm yet to power the second server. So let's just move ahead. That's how to configure, that's how to set up time server on your own server. Other people call it NTP, network time protocol. Any question before we move ahead? Any question? Please speak up, please.
Why setting up time server?
Why do you want to set it up? So that we can synchronize our server with time. Because there are some services that we need time on our server. All right, I explained, okay, you are not, maybe your network didn't allow you. I just explained that while configuring your DHCP, okay, there's a point you will get to where your DHCP will ask you that some of the dynamic IP addresses, for how long should I list them out? If you don't have a time server, your DHCP might not be able to calculate how long you should list them out. Remember, your DHCP is not resident on your host, on your computer in front of you. No, it is in the internet. It is a server. All right, and it means that even when the time on your own system is correct or not correct, the server is able to connect to a standard network time protocol to pick its timing from there. All right.
And for this to work, you must be connected.
I can barely hear you. Please speak up. I think your mouth is far from your microphone.
Okay, for this to work, can
Yes.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, for this to work, meaning you must be connected to internet.
That was the first thing we said, that you go and enable your NAT.
Oh,
All right. You must enable your NAT network. All right. If you're not able, if you do not enable your NAT and you configure 8.8.8 or any other network time protocol for that matter, nothing will happen. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Now, today we're looking at snapshot, cloning, and backup. So someone asked me, how do you repair your virtual machine if it's broken? I tried to find out as well, but majorly what I discovered was that you might not be able to repair a client machine. Okay, server these days hardly got broken because there are snapshots, there are clone, and there are backups that help you. But because each of your machine has its own driver, and these drives, rather, not drivers, drives, your hard disk or any storage device attached to them, and you need to access those things, and you cannot access them because that virtual machine is bad. There are ways you can extract content of a storage drive of a broken virtual machine. That is what I found out. But for a corrupted machine, it might be difficult. I'm not saying it's possible. It might be difficult for you to repair. However, prevention is better than looking for cure. So I will be showing us different ways you can back up your virtual machine such that if it breaks down or if it goes bad, you can revert to the last configuration that was fine. Okay. And you must always do this consciously. If you find yourself to be a network, an administrator, okay, a server admin, you must consciously do this. In fact, the standard is you set timing for the server to back up. All right, but in AWS, you don't need to set time for your server to back up. It is part of the configuration, except if you want to reduce the frequency of backup. All right, it's part of the configuration. All right, it comes by default. So the first thing is snapshot. So it is going to be more of essay. That's why I said I'll release us early today. Okay, by 9 o'clock or by 8:30, 8:45, it should be done. All right, so let's just listen carefully and enjoy the class. With snapshots, you can save a particular state of a virtual machine for later use. All right. Oh, I have to do this now. I hope we are all following. Okay, I know this one will not do because I didn't power my. Okay, so that thing I closed says that the window I closed, that the DHCP could not configure because you cannot reach the target DHCP. The target DHCP is our replica DHCP. So since I didn't power it, it is only one server that is running. I didn't power it, okay? But when you watch the video I released today, you will understand. So please be encouraged to watch. All right. This is my server. If you come to machine, you will see take snapshot. If you click on it, take snapshot, you'll be able to take the snapshot of the current state of this machine. So that's why I said, as an administrator, you must consciously do this, especially before you begin any configuration. Okay, so let's say they just introduced a new software or an update to the server you're managing, and you now want to bring it on. The wise thing to do is take a snapshot of the current state of that server that is working well, that you are sure of. In case things go south after your installation, after your maintenance, or after your whatever, you can revert to the initial one you do. And that's what
that will serve like a restore point.
Exact. God bless you. In your normal Windows, your restore point. Okay.
Call it rollback.
Exactly. You can roll back to it. Thank you. Whatever name you call it, restore points. Thank you. Roll back. Yeah. You are all correct. And you can give it description. So let me say, I want to configure. Okay, that person that said, Mr. Haron wanted to know how he can disable clients from using their respective local host drives. Like, he didn't want them to use flash drive on their client machine. He didn't want them to use their CD drive. And let's say I found a way it can be configured on the server. But before I do that, I should come here and take a snapshot of the state of my server at that point that is working well. And I might describe it as before locking all of you. Anything you want to, what will make you understand, what will make your back-to-back understand when he or she takes over from you after your shift. And I'll say, okay. So what you are saying is it's time to take a snapshot. Now this machine is running. This is how to take the snapshot of the machine while it is running. You come to machine here and say, take snapshot. But are we in class? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, boss.
But for a machine that is not running, that is powered up, okay, see how you take snapshot. You click, either it is server or it is a client. You click the menu of that machine. The menu of that machine, and you come to snapshot. You click on snapshot.
Okay, that's if it's not running.
Yes, if it is not running, you click on snapshot, and you see take snapshot here. Because I've taken snapshot of this, that's why you are seeing all these things here. All right. If you click on take snapshot, you take it to that same window we saw while it is running, and then you name of the snapshot. You can give it whatever name. Say, let me say, most times when I take snapshot, I use date. I don't name them. I just use them as snapshot, and then I just use date and time. Today, yes, I can hear you, please.
Yeah, sorry, just want to bring this up. Sorry. Because this is the environment in which you are using, that's why we are able to do the snapshot. In the production environment,
yeah,
it's actually the sysadmin people they use vBlog or vSphere.
Okay, for Windows, right?
Yes.
All right. So for Windows,
but that's a platform that they have virtual machines. This is the one we are using. They will not see this one in a live production environment. That's the reason why I'm just saying.
No, they will see.
They will see. This is Oracle.
Inside every server, you can take snapshots.
And that's what I'm saying. They will not see it like this. That's what I'm trying to say. This is a virtual book.
Have you worked with Oracle server before, sir?
No, you're not getting what I'm saying. I'm talking about what is used in provisioning the servers.
For Windows servers.
What VMware you're talking about is another OS.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So
that's what I'm trying to say. That Because they use VMware for those ones. That's what I'm saying. That people will not see it like this.
Oh,
So that people should not be surprised if they go and see another thing. That's what I'm just paying attention.
All right. So that's a very valid observation. Thank you. So our server, even though it is Windows, the virtualization technology that we are using for it is by Oracle. All right. You have VMware for Windows. I think you also have another one like that. When I remember, I'll tell us. Okay. So please say that again. For Windows, where did you say we're going to see it? Because I'm conversant with Oracle. Please.
What I'm saying is, in the VMware, this thing, they will not see, it's not going to be like this. This thing is different. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I agree with you.
That they are going to see is going to, but it will still follow the same distance. I'm just trying to say that so that when somebody sees another one, it will not be as if I was not taught this one. No.
Oh, okay. All right. So thank you for that observation. It's a very valid one. Thank you. So this is it. You say take snapshot. I'm not taking this because I already take one. I don't want it to delay us. So I've just shown us how to take snapshots. Now let us discuss snapshots, because I like it when you know how to do something and you know the knowledge behind it and what you expect.
Hello?
And what you should not expect. Please go ahead.
Okay. The snapshot we just took now,
yes.
Where are we going to find it?
In your Oracle box, or in your virtual box.
Where in the virtual box?
Okay. See your virtual box. If you click here, snapshot, see the ones you have.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
That's the one that you have.
What? Okay. So let's just continue.
Hello. So how do you restore it in case you need to restore it to the old version?
Thank you. I'm going to show us as well. I like it when we are interactive and lively like this. I prefer what's happened today than yesterday. So let the network hear the word of God and don't ever do what happened yesterday again. So let's go and discuss. A snapshot of a virtual machine is similar to a machine in a saved state, but there can be many of them, and these saved states are preserved. So it can be handy when you want to test something or you are about to make a change to your virtual machine, and you need to be able to roll back to a working instance in time. You need to be able to roll back. That's why you take snapshots. Now, content of snapshots. You might want to ask, when I take a snapshot, what am I doing? The first thing is it contains the complete copy of the virtual machine settings, all the settings you have done, including the hardware configuration, so that when you restore it, the settings are restored as well. For instance, if you change the hard disk configuration of a virtual machine, the change is undone when you restore the snapshot. So assuming you partitioned the hard drive, okay, then something up is not adding up. By the time you restore the snapshot, the partitioning goes with it. What else does it contain? Complete state of all the virtual disk attached to the machine is preserved. The state at which they have when you took that snapshot, okay, it is preserved. Files that were created before the snapshot, they are restored when you restore the snapshot. All right, so imagine the network time that we configured. Imagine we took snapshots before configuring that network time. And after I configure the network time, the server began to misbehave. By the time I restore my server to the last snapshot I took, the configuration is gone because it wasn't part of the of the snapshot. If you take a snapshot while the machine is running, the memory of the machine is also saved in the snapshot. It is the same way that memory can be saved when you close a machine. When you restore that kind of machine, execution will resume at exactly the point where the snapshot was taken. And that's what I showed of that. You can either take snapshots while the machine is running or when it is not. The same thing will happen. It will be able to take everything. All right. You'll be able to take everything, either it is running or it is not. But if it is running, it is the state at that point. It is the state at that point. And that is why before you do anything, take your snapshot first before you move ahead and configure any special configuration. Okay. So this one is just for you when you are practicing, okay, how to take the snapshot when the VM is off and when the VM is running. I've showed us that one. Restore a snapshot. The person that asked, just right click on the snapshot and say restore. Okay, so imagine this server now, right? Is not working. I'm not able to get to this stable point in this server. What do I do? Nothing now. I have to still power it off. Isn't it? So I just come to my box and I click on where it is already powered off, snapshot here. If you right click on the snapshot, you will see restore. Have you seen it? All right. So if I click on restore now, it will return this item server 2 to the
earlier version.
The state it was when I took that snapshot. And then you can now continue with your configuration. Okay. It comes handy when you need to test different things. So when something new is being introduced to your PC. All right. Let's go back to our note.
A question, please. This snapshot.
Yep.
Does it take as long as it takes during the configuration? You know, during our configuration, we went through a lot.
No, so it doesn't take long. It will take long if your server there's a lot on your server. If you have configured many things and you have plenty files, blah, blah, blah. All right, but it is always advisable that you take your snapshots at when the machine is off. It is faster that way.
Okay.
It won't take time. Meanwhile, look at
another question.
Okay.
Yeah, please, because recently I had an issue with a server in the office and I needed to restore. Okay. But this Anna told me that the highest that machine can be restored is only a month. So let me find out. Is there anywhere you set the period? Because he was telling me that that's the highest that the automatic backup can go. A month for the VMs, for the snapshots to be taken. And after a month, anything done after that month, anything you want to restore before after a month,
yeah,
it will not be possible. It is only a month that machine can be restored back to the snapshot can be gotten. So I just say, let me find out.
A very good question. And there are many correct answers to it. It could be that the way they configure that server, it backs up monthly. All right. So the only person that can change that is whoever is hosting that server for you. Did you get? It could also be that they are saving costs. Right? So assuming it is AWS, Amazon Web Service, that is hosting your server, right? The process of backup means that every file on that server, they are opening a new set of storage for it. Do you get? It doesn't mean that they would discard the previous one you have. They will also keep that one for you in case you need to go and dig something out from there. So imagine you set your frequency to be backing up 3 times in a month. That means you are buying storage from the data center 3 times in a month. You know the implication for your company? Cost. That's the
So
second.
in this case, what I think has happened in what he explained is that the cost issue has been their issue, because they cannot keep backup of previous month and still load it there where they are spending huge amount of money on it. So they only do monthly.
And so you cannot categorically say that it is cost. It could also be that when they configure that server for them, all right, when they configure that server for them, they set it to be backing up every month. So even if you are a server administrator at the premise office, you still don't, you are still not able to access, you are still not able to access to change that setting except you contact the host. Do you get? So it could be either of this. All right. So, but it is important that backup is done. Snapshots are taken. Right. Can we move on now? So I've shown us how to restore a snapshot. I've shown us how to the same way, the same point where you restore, you can also delete the snapshot. But now be careful when you're, let me show you one that I have plenty. Look at this practice server here. Look at all the snapshots I have. All right. If you want to delete snapshots, delete from up. Please don't delete from the last one. The last snapshot for this one was on 26th June. That's 1 day ago. So if I want to delete snapshots now, which one do you think I'm going to delete? The one of a day ago or the one of 5 days ago?
5 days.
Exactly.
The one of 5 days ago is not recent. The one of a day is the most, it has the information of the one of that 5 days inside of it.
Exactly. All right. But look at it now. The person asking that question. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 6 snapshots. This could be a month. And the server kept the whole 6. And that means you are buying space on their server, on whoever is hosting you for these whole 6. So it could be cost, for cost reasons, they don't want you to do it more than a month. But for that, your workplace, what would be advisable is they can do an internal backup. It is possible to just have a small premise data center. Okay, maybe let's say 10 terabytes, and you do your backup. If you think it is necessary that you do maybe bi-weekly backup on it. All right, so you have the one saved on which server, whoever is hosting your server monthly, and you have your own as well. So you can just, if you can afford it, but that kind of backup now is a dormant backup because it is not on the server. So if anybody from any part of the country wants to query that server, or they are demanding something from that server, it will not be able to access the one you have on your premise backup because it is not on your domain. Are you getting what I'm saying? Hello, give me feedback.
Yes, Rabbit.
Yes, I got it for me.
All right, so the person that asked that they are not able to back up more than once in a month, and I am suggesting that they can do a dormant backup. All right, because the backup you do once in a month is being done by the server. All right, so you can query the backup of 2 months ago. You can query information of 3 months ago because you have the backup where that query can go and ask questions or find information about. But if you think there is need to do bi-weekly backup, all right, you can have an on-premise backup configuration. However, you will not be able to query it on the domain because it is localized on your own premise. On-premise, when I say on-premise, it means in your own facility. It is not that the data center is somewhere in UK or USA or in Asia. That's what I mean by on-premise. You have it in your own facility. All right.
It's private cloud.
Exactly, private cloud, something like that. Well, it might not necessarily be private cloud because there are also
Your own data center.
exactly your own private data center, just like you buy hard drive. Let me explain it to you in a way now. I save my picture in my Google Drive, and I also save my picture in my external hard drive. If I'm in US, if I don't carry my hard drive with me, I cannot access the pictures I have in my external hard drive because it is in Nigeria. But if I log in into my Google, I can see the one. That's the difference now. So the one on my hard drive is like my on-premise backup. The one on Google is the what? The server backup. I think that one explains it better now. So let's move ahead. Deleting a snapshot, just the same. Okay, I think I've shown us that. The next thing is cloning. Cloning. You can create a full copy or a linked copy of an existing virtual machine. This copy is called a clone. You might use a cloned virtual machine to experiment with a virtual configuration to test different guest operating levels or to back up a server. All right, so assuming they now say, look at our primary server, they say, okay, someone in-house found a better way of doing something. Let's effect it and let's see if it will work. And I didn't want to tamper with this my server. I just clone it. All right. What do I say? You clone. You just right click on it and you say clone. All right. You cannot clone a running server. You only clone a server that is what? Powered down. That is not running. That is in off state. All right. So I clone it, and everything in it is replicated in that cloned one. So I can do any experiment I want to do with that cloned one. Like I have a clone server. Okay, look at it. Item server clone. I cloned this one, and this is it here. Everything I have here is also here as well. But let us read ahead. I took my time to prepare this note. During cloning, you can choose a path for the cloned virtual machine. Otherwise, Oracle VirtualBox uses default matching folders. Well, I'll show us that. The clone type options, whether to create a clone linked to the source virtual machine or a fully independent one. Okay, so for full clone, it means that it copies all independent disk images to the new virtual machine folder. For a linked one, it doesn't copy. It links images on the disk to the cloned one. But for this occasion of backup, it must be full clone that you will do. All right. Okay, let's do less of talk and let's go and clone one so you can see. Let's clone one so you can see. This is my item server 2. It is in off state. I right click on it and I say clone. All right. The name you want to give it, you put it here. MAC address policy. You drop MAC address policy to generate new MAC address for all network adapters. All right, you must generate new MAC address. Otherwise, you will not be able to network. You will not be able to network that machine. Okay. Do you want to keep disk names? Well, yes. If you want to keep disk name, keep hardware UI IDs. Yes, but there's no need to. For the sake of this part, disk name means that the name you gave those disks in the original whatever still what's replicated there. You say next. Look at it here, full cloning. And like I said at the beginning of the class, when you see a new window, you know that in class what you learned is just click next. But when you're doing your own practice, don't just next. You come here and read. If you choose full clone, an exact copy, including all virtual hard disk files of the original virtual machine will be created. That's what will happen. If you choose linked clone, a new machine will be created, but The virtual hard disk files will be tied to the virtual hard disk of the original machine. Like I said, it will be tied to it. So it is a full clone. You say next. Okay. What do you want to copy for the snapshot? You see that there is snapshot including as well. Do I want to choose the current machine state or everything? If you choose current machine state, the new machine will reflect the current state of the original machine. If you choose everything, all right, if you choose everything, and like I showed us here, I showed us those plenty snapshots, almost 5 snapshots. It will pick all the 5 snapshots, and that means it's going to be a heavy cloning. It will consume space, your storage. All right. So if you are sure that this item server 2, at the time you powered it off, it was working well, don't clone everything. I mean, don't pick everything for snapshot. But if you have plenty storage, you can afford to pay for it. If your server is in cloud, you can pick everything. But for me, I'll pick current machine state. It means that take the current machine state. Don't take previous snapshot that I have of that machine. I'll say clone. And now it is cloning. It will take 9 minutes for this one to clone. It is as simple.
What is this RAM that is looking at something?
Well, that's what virtual Oracle wants to use for their own. And it is even a 3-legged RAM, I can imagine. All right. So let's move over to
that's a mystery RAM.
Exactly, a mystery RAM. Okay. Clone can be used to back up a server. Clone can be used to back up a server. So in that situation, you must set the MAC address policy to include all network adapter addresses during cloning so that the clone will recognize all devices on the network. Okay, so what we are saying is, if you want to use, I'm going to cancel this now because I've shown us what we need to happen. Assuming this cloning, you want to use it to back up a server. You want to use it to back up the server, and you want it to be active when you need it. You will not set MAC address to set new MAC addresses like we did. Let me cancel this. Let me right click on clone. Here now, you will set it to
Generate new.
No, if you need to back up a server actively, back up a server network and exactly. That is what you will do. So maybe for one reason you want to decommission this server, but before you decommission it, you want to clone it. And maybe when you need to return to it, you need it to operate and still recognizes all the adapters you have. You know, on your domain, you can have different servers, and those servers have network adapter with MAC addresses. You say you should include all network MAC addresses. Right? Now, there's something we need to know when you are done with your cloning. So assuming I allowed that cloning to proceed and it completed very well, before that machine can be active, there's something you must do. Okay, so to save our time, I have cloned this item server, and that is what is here. What I did is what I just showed us. I'm going to power it up now and show us something. I want to power it now. By 9 o'clock, we should be done. So we can use the 30 minutes to refresh. And those that need to watch the video, go and watch the video. So this is the cloned item server 2. Let me power down this because we're not using it again. So let me look at our notes that I've been able to do. We've been able to configure this. This is in the video I expect you to watch. We've done snapshots, cloning. Okay, so when this comes up, you need to go and change the SID. You need to go and generate SID. SID is security identification, right? You must generate a new one for that clone. When you do that, it means that clone is now being recognized as a machine on its own as well, that can also interact with other machines on the domain. If you don't do that, and you are trying to join that machine to the domain, and on that domain is the same domain you have. What's happening? My cloning is not coming up. Okay, so look at this now. Windows could not complete installation. To install Windows, this computer restart, say okay. Let's see if that will work. If it doesn't work, that means.
So I want to ask a question.
Please go ahead.
So this machine that you just cloned now,
yes,
it's going to be coming with the ID of the other machine that you cloned it for.
Yes, that is
okay. So you have to now change it for it to own its
exactly. You need to configure it. Yeah, because everything on it is what is picking. It will pick everything, and that's why you say change the security ID. If you need to configure it to be on that network as well, you need to reconfigure it as well. All right. But your cloning is not the same as a replica server. Okay. A replica server is only replicating things on the domain. It will not replicate local files on that server machine. All right. You know that your server machine is first, your domain controller is first a server before you promoted it to become a domain controller. Now, when you set up,
you need to plug your system.
The battery is down.
Thank you. I'm doing that right now. You need to set up a server before you promote it to a domain controller. And your server, you can have local files. Your local files on your server does not replicate on your secondary domain controller. All right. What replicates on your replica server is things that you do on that domain, on that server, on the domain, right? That's why replica is not the same as a backup. Okay, so this one waste our time.
So can I ask, there's a question.
Please ask a question.
Okay, so assume we have, and this is common, I think. Assuming we have a server 08 as our domain controller, and we want to migrate to 2019. You know, it's very, the distance is high.
Yes.
What do we do? Is that we upgrade or we create a new server and then promote it to a controller?
With that,
add it to the existing controller.
With that difference in year of development, you decommission that server, turn it to a legacy server.
Okay, but we need to create a new domain controller for the organization to use while we are doing our upgrade.
So what you do is you first set up that 2000 and the recent 2019. You first set it up. And then you begin to migrate users gradually.
Do
you get?
And you know, she graduation.
Is it that I migrate user from the ADDS or
most of the online?
Yes.
Most of them.
Okay, so
hello.
don't worry, let me just mute everybody. Okay. So you can unmute yourself if you want to talk now.
Okay, so see that I migrate, I just promote it to domain controller where he inherited.
But class, I'm calling your mom. That's one.
This person, I'm sure the person is Mr. Demola. All right, so go ahead, please.
Oh,
So
sorry.
So where the 08 server, the 2019 server inherits all the features of the 08 server. If
No,
you just promote it.
The reason why you are upgrading is because you have a better server. So the best thing is to decommission the 08 server, but you can't just do that at once. You begin to move users
one by
gradually,
one.
not one by one, like gradually. It can take you like it is a project too. It's not
Yes,
like you don't sit down in your office and just click button. No, you sit down with your team, the network person in that team, the administrator, the DevOps, the database person. All these things we are putting in your head now in standard in organizations that are standard. One person handle this thing. But the reason why we are doing this is so that when you are trying to get offers, you will not be limited. All right. Even though you might, for some people, when they begin to work in IT, it might just be database alone. They'll be working on just database. For some people, it might just be resolving DNS issues alone. For some people, it might just be writing code alone. Okay. But a company wants to employ someone that has knowledge of all these things and still narrow down. They want a generalist and also a specialist because they believe that, okay, in case something happened one day, it will be easier for you. All right. So the question you ask me is not what you sit down in your server room and do. It is a project that, oh, all right. So Windows has provided another server, but this one is running on 2019. Okay, you don't just say click of a button, you settle down, you plan it. All right, because there's no way you can upgrade 08 to 2019. Assuming it is 2016, they will not even release a new, they will just release a patch and say and ask you to upgrade. Simple. All right, but 08 is fine. It's just like you want to upgrade XP or Vista. Windows XP or Windows Vista or that 2007.
So sorry, what I'm trying to say. You know, let's assume I have a domain controller and I have another one, a domain controller.
Yes.
And the two are like they are 2008.
Yes.
So I'm saying when I want to upgrade it,
created
another server that is a 2019.
Yes.
And then promote it to a domain controller.
Yes.
That 2019 inherit all the features of the 08 apart from the OS.
Of course, yes. It doesn't even need to inherit the features now because a domain controller is a domain controller. The moment you promote to a domain controller, it inherits the features of a domain controller.
I can, okay, know how the object of 08 inside of it. I will now start to move all the object of 08.
Exactly.
Wow.
You get it now.
That one.
Okay. Because that server that is new, they have also got how it will function as a domain controller on its own. So,
but it does not have information on it.
Exactly, it doesn't have information. And in that situation, what you do is you are in class when we discuss multi-master servers. So you just promote it to a master server as well that is active, and you begin to move the users, the groups, organizational units one by one. All right.
Okay.
So this is the last thing we're going to do now before. Let me sign into this. I want to show us something that when you are able to clone a server, right? You must do this. You must do this so that the server can function, or clone a machine, either a server or a client, so it can function maximally. right? So you can function maximally. Once this is up, you go to, okay, the person that was not able to see, oh, okay, I think we've resolved that file explorer issue. I just remember when I say file explorer here, I don't know that, okay, we've been able to resolve that. So assuming this is my cloned server, okay, you come to file explorer here. I'm trying to show us now. Can we all hear me and can we all see my screen?
Yes.
This is file explorer. You come to this PC, you click, we want to go and generate a security ID for this machine that is cloned. You open your local disk, all right? You open your local disk, is it Windows or files? Let me check again. Okay, it is Windows. You open the Windows folder and you search for System32. I just click on the empty field and I press S because what I'm looking for starts with S. System32. You open this System32. Okay, then you search for sysrep. Sysrep, where is it? Or is this server? See, look at it here. System preparation. I open that as well. System preparation. Okay, this executable file, it is called application 6rep. If you double click on it, what you want to do now is you want to generate a new security ID and you also want to clean it. Okay, system preparation tools prepares the machine for hardware independence and cleanup. Look at it. It prepares your machine for hardware independence. So it means that the hardware of this, you know, it is a virtual drive now, will be independent on its own. And then if there are files that are dormant, that are not doing anything, that has been generated because it's on the internet, on this new clone, it will clean it up as well. All right. So that's how you make your cloned machine active. Okay, where is it? You leave it at here, you check generalize and you say okay. If I click okay now, it will begin to wipe all the unused and then unneeded things on the hardware of this machine. But because my cloned machine did not come up, that's why I'm using this one. So let's assume this is a cloned machine. How did we do that? I'll show us again. You come to File Explorer, this PC, you open your local drive, you open your Windows, you search for System32, you search for System Preparation Tool, and you click on, you run this, double click on it, check generalize, it will run it. When you do that, all right, you are able to use that system. So how can we test this? For that person, your second server has worked. But how do you test it is create a server machine, configure it. Don't promote this to domain controller yet. Clone it so you can use it as a second domain instead of going to spin up another server. Just clone the one you created initially. Go back to your original server, promote it to domain controller, and set it up. Now the clone server, without going through the process that I just showed us now, try to add it to the domain controller. You will not be able to. there will be clashes because it will still be seeing it as itself. All right, it will still be seeing it as itself. So I was tempted to ask Mr. T, was that what happened that you're not able to add it? But remember, I've not shown us how to clone. So it could not have been that he cloned that one and he was not able to join to it. And that's the end of the class today. We didn't do much of click today. I just showed us how we can configure NTP, network time protocol, and then if you need to do backup, the 3 different methods. This backup here only works for drive. I'll show us with this one on Saturday of this week. Okay, but the real backup for your servers, for your machine, either client or server, is snapshot and clone. Any questions, please?
Yes, question.
Please ask.
Yeah, my question is on clone.
Okay.
You know, a server and the controller is a device, right?
It's a machine.
Is an entity, is a machine, yeah, is a machine.
Yeah.
And if I'm cloning, am I also cloning on that machine, or there's going to be another machine that's a clone?
Your machine is resident in your virtual box.
No, I'm talking about real life scenario.
Oh, in real life scenario, you are cloning on. Okay, so your server is resident in a you have your local host, your computer in front of you.
Yes.
Okay, and there is a software that the server is running on that is allowing you to create that is allowing your server to, there's an OS that is allowing your server to run. If you are not using any of these virtualization softwares, it is on that host that it will clone on. Do you get my response?
I didn't get.
Okay, let me, maybe I should simplify it for him.
Okay.
So in real life, you have a virtual box in your Hyper-V. Your Hyper-V, if you clone a server, it will come again, just like all of these ones you are seeing. It will come like, assuming you have just one server and you clone it, it will come to this, you will see another one on the ground. Underneath that one, inside Hyper-V, saying another server is in, the one you clone has been generated to another one. Do you understand? So it now depends on what you want to do with it. You want to start it, you want to play around, whatever you want to do with it. It will not be inside the original server you clone. No. It will be inside the host.
Do you get now?
Okay, so in a real life scenario, let's say as an administrator,
yes,
I have it. My machine will also have this Oracle virtual box, right?
Or Hyper-V. Yes, yes. It's either you have this Oracle virtual box or you have your Hyper-V.
Okay, so let me hold on. Let me clarify that for you again. You have a big machine, that the one you can see physically, and your company has decided to tell you that, look, we want 5 machines on that physical box. It means that they've told you, go and virtualize this physical box.
Yep.
Use it as a host and create small machines on top of it. So inside of that small machine, you now decide you want to clone one. You have 3 machines inside there. You clone one. The one you clone, the moment you finish the cloning, the machines inside that host will become 4.
Now I understand. You know, I'm looking at it from a layman's angle, because when I go to my the IT department in my office, I'll see a server. They said that's a server.
Yes.
And it looks like a machine, just like a normal laptop, normal computer or something.
Those ones are physical machine.
And that's
you cannot clone those ones.
You cannot clone. So that's your host. Is the one that you do all these plenty things on. So on that physical machine, you can have like 3 other servers, one controlling the time of your website, another server can be handling DNS, another server can be a web server, your website. All right. And remember,
in one machine.
Yes, in one machine. That's the same thing we did here. Look at this, on my computer now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 servers and I have 2 clients. All right. This server now is a computer, but it's just that it is a virtualized computer. It has its own OS. It can function as a machine, right? You know, when we were signing in into this client.
Yes.
That's a machine as well.
I think I understand now. It's clear to me.
All right.
Clear to me.
All right. Any other question, please? All right. If there are no other question, I implore us to please this week let us be determined to check on all videos, make notes, and do your own as well. That is.
Baba Femo, please, you know I beg for your help. Just help me out.
For the notes?
The videos.
The videos. No, it's not an issue. I'll send all the links to you. Although it's on our WhatsApp page, but I'll still send it to you.
Okay.
All right. All right. And all the videos are now public, so you can download them. Yes, but just for this module. Subsequent modules, videos are not public. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll continue on our WhatsApp page. Oh, a question? Go ahead and ask.
No, it's not a question, just like a contribution.
Okay.
Somebody that was asking for like a kind of template for CV. Also, what I also noticed is that if you go online, maybe just look for like they're looking for job. Like now, maybe Oracle, OWS, something like
even if you go online and type Linux administrator resume, you will see what you need.
Exactly. Yeah. You're correct.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
All right. Thank you for that valuable addition. All right, good people. If there's nothing to discuss again, we'll continue on our WhatsApp page. And please, again, I plead with you, please do your practice, do your labs. That's the only way you can be sure you know what we've been learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.